All right, welcome back to another Clearmud live stream. Today we are focused on Openclaw, and let's get straight into it. So, got a fresh session here. I want to share some things first, and this is just a lesson to myself, and hopefully somebody can learn from this lesson. It's really easy to kind of get lost in tweaking things, making things optimized, but I really need to set a rule where, week to week, I use the system I put in place. I've put so much time and effort into Clearmud OS where I'm not using Notion anymore. It's awesome. I'm using my own built-in content calendar. It's fully functional. It works great. I'm tweaking little things here and there. But it's solid. It's solid. As you can see here, I actually need to adjust that. These are all the videos scheduled out for this month. It's great. But today I got caught in a trap and I thought, let me try to get away from using the gateway. Only use the gateway when I really, really need to, right? And I thought, let's build our own chat. It's semi-working, but man, did it cause a lot of issues today. So I would have rather spent time editing and making more videos, because today is usually a hybrid where I finish filming anything I didn't film yesterday. Tuesdays always film, record. Wednesdays film, edit, rough edits, and then Thursdays fine tune the edits, get all the content scheduled that you finished for the week. And this whole debacle this morning, the chain reaction that it set off trying to get that to work really set me behind to where I didn't do any rough edits today. I also had to re-record one of my videos from yesterday, and I re-recorded it twice because I didn't set the screen share on the screen share. It was on me. So I essentially had to record the same video twice today, and it caught up to this live stream time frame, and it just kind of bugged me. So moving forward, I'm going to make sure any major adjustments to my system I do on the weekends, right? Weekdays are primarily for operations. That's just a rule of thumb I need to operate on moving forward. So I hope that inspires somebody to kind of, and not just somebody, more than one person, to make sure that, once you're operational, use it, have it work for you, and then make those improvements, in a time blocked fashion so that you're really in that mode, right? Of, okay, I don't need to do anything else today. Let's improve the system. And what's really cool about this week is I'm on track. I have like an additional 20% on the week available at my rate of daily usage. And my first week of max actually building out MuddyOS and Clearmud OS, I maxed out 2 days early because of how much time I spent on the foundation, on the infrastructure. So I'm loving the usage. This week I've incorporated, I'm gonna be dropping a video tomorrow highlighting my org chart and how things work. I incorporated this awesome stand-up, which we can demo right now if you'd like. So let me kind of just give you a brief overview of the new system, right? So CEO, vision, strategy, final decisions, right? Muddy's my executive assistant. He researches, he delegates, he executes, and he orchestrates. And then I have Elon Musk, my CTO, and here's all of his divisions and subagents that he controls. The same with Gary, my CMO. He controls the content and creative subdivisions. And Warren Buffett, my chief revenue officer, he controls the product division, the growth division, and community division, because you need a solid community to grow, right? So, and they all operate off of 4.6. Listen, for local models, I don't use them primarily because of the system that it's running on. This is running inside of a VM on this machine, right? So it has limited resources. But honestly, running them on Opus 4.6 has been awesome. And it has not been eating through my usage at all like I thought it would. I was gonna test this week with 4.6, and it is not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Probably should have made sure we are live, huh? But honestly, Yeah, we are live. And I'm just loving it. So let's, what kind of stand-up do we create here? I now have them all as well operating on their own heartbeats. So every day they come together and they discuss, you know, my short-term, medium-term, long-term vision and what they can do to help improve those, you know, us reaching those goals. I'm really starting to give more autonomy to my Openclaw agent and the entire system that I've built, this infrastructure that I've built over the past few weeks. And as you can see here, Elon has his own soul, his own identity, his own tools, his own agents, his own memory. Memory does tie in with our main as well, but they do have their own memory as well, their own heartbeats. Fully functional. Clay is our Discord bot. If you want an invite to the Discord, drop a comment below. Let me know you're interested. It is invite only right now before I open it up to the public and make sure that it's, you know, a link on our view channel kind of FAQ. So I've been loving the system. But yeah, lesson learned today. Don't tweak and build new features when you're on a week where you need to get things done, right? Delegate that to a weekend time block where you're improving the system. I think what should have been the right move for me. Now, what do I want this stand-up to be about? Autonomy. How can we help Marcelo reach and Clearmud reach their short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals? What can we automate and do behind the scenes to help? And I'm going to start stand-up here. So in a moment, that will load. This is a cool new feature that I built in. Takes a moment to load. Oh, and I also, so the reason I wanted to incorporate my own chat, right? I'll give you a sneak peek, is I can see the C-suite chat, them chatting on their own. I can also, as I'm working, as you can see, it was very buggy today, so I stopped working on it, but I'm gonna finish building that out over the weekend. But I have essentially this floating blurb across Muddy OS that I can just prompt my Muddy OS chat, which is also here, which is also an extension of the gateway, but it's its own chat, right? It's its own session. But I was running into a lot of issues today, so I stopped so that I can focus on content creation. But let's go back to the stand-up. As you can see here, and this is building out real time. So they're actually independently playing off of Muddy. Muddy does a prompt, then Gary does his own prompt, then Elon does his own prompt. And I believe if I go into sessions here, you can see here, these are all the different sessions being spun up for their responses. And I have these filter tags to let me know what, you know, filter out Clay, filter out Elon, filter out Muddy, Gary. It's interesting how they have this Discord one tied in. That's a little bug, but they're all active in that conversation. And as you can see, the conversation's building, it's expanding. So I'll show you the output in a second because that is real time. So that takes a few minutes to happen, right? Because they are thinking, responding. You know, it's an actual stand-up meeting between people, but they're AI agents going back and forth. It's pretty sweet. All right, let's see where we are on content. And then we'll get into the focus on today, which is gonna be, I believe it's on 7200, which is gonna be ClawCrib. I really wanna push version 1 live today so we can start testing with a small group of people. Hey, Muddy, I'm live streaming right now. It's time we work on ClawCrib. Pull up our list of to-dos and anything else I missed. This session is going to be solely focused on ClawCrib. also want to check to make sure that Discord automation is in place as well. Let's go check Task Manager really quickly. I think it's every 10 minutes. So in theory, Clay, YouTube watchers, 6 minutes ago, we've been live. Interesting. How? Oop. And I'll give you a sneak peek. So this is our Discord server. If you do want an invite, this just is a place for us to experiment, share our findings. We'll be building out this community. I'll be publicly advertising this. Right now it's just invite only. Clay is a new bot that I set up that operates off of Gemini 3 Flash. I've fine-tuned the YouTube alerts. It was supposed to notify once we went live, but it didn't. This part's working great when we schedule the live stream, when we post a new video. But after all the debugging I had to do today with the broken chat, I had to reconfigure a few things. So I'm just checking in with it to see why it didn't post that we went live. And soon we'll start working on ClawCrib. That's going to be the main focus on the rest of the live stream is pushing this live. All right. What's built? Let's see. Also make sure comments are live. Select live sources. Already added. Start streaming on Twitch. Great. Okay. Great, 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 great. All data is still mock. Okay, builder doesn't persist. Build vanish. Navigate. No sharing and forking buttons exist, but not functional. Vercel deployment was blocked on SMS. Okay. All right, I'm gonna prep a prompt because I'm gonna go do everything I need to do. I'll take care of DNS right now. Go ahead and address all the other line items. And I believe we were also gonna do starter kits. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe from the executive stand-up. How did that slip through the cracks? All right, let me go and open up that VM, and let's go to its browser profile. Let's go to Vercel. Okay, ClawCrib.com, production. Wonderful, valid. So now if we go to ClawCrib.com, all right, I fixed the DNS. It looks like ClawCrib.com has an older repo. We have to ship our latest version as soon as possible once you make those changes. But DNS is ready. It is live. But I'm noticing, right, the favicon, the icon, it's outdated. So once you get all those fixes in place, let's ship our latest build so we can start testing. And then GitHub OAuth. Show me what you mean. I'm in your browser profile. I've navigated to Vercel, to Convex. You're logged in. You should have all the access that you need. All right. Just make sure it has access to convex.dev. Oh, I guess I do need to log in. My bad. All right, in your VM browser profile, you have ClawCrib open in Vercel and Convex. Let's get this deployed. Love it. And I'm going to stop that just so I can send that as well. And in the meantime, let's go back to my stand-up. I know I mentioned I was going to show that off. So here we have, I can go and read them line by line. What I've been doing is I have this sent to my Telegram. That way I can just listen to it on the go. But as you can see, morning team, today's focus. So I'm going to generate the audio. I'm not using 11 Labs. I know 11 Labs, the voices would be better. I don't feel like paying for anything yet. So I'm using an open source solution. So the voices are a bit more robotic, but they get the job done, right? For the sake of proof of work and functionality, it works. I just need to now decide whether or not I want to invest in 11 Labs and pay monthly for all that.
Morning team.
So here we go.
Today's focus: how do we maximize our autonomy to help Marcelo and Clearmud hit their goals across all time horizons? What can we automate, run behind the scenes, and handle without being asked? Let's start concrete. What's one thing each of you could take fully off Marcelo's plate this week without him needing to lift a finger?
One thing I can own this week: audit every channel where Clearmud has a presence, Discord, Twitter, Docs site, and build a content calendar with auto-scheduled posts so Marcelo never has to think about did we post today. Beyond that, I want to set up automated engagement tracking so we know what's landing and what's noise, and feed that back into our messaging without anyone asking for a report.
The biggest friction I see is deployment and infrastructure babysitting. This week I can fully automate our dev server health checks, auto-restart on failure, and set up a proper CI pipeline so any code that lands on staging gets tested and deployed without Marcelo ever seeing a terminal. Medium term, I want every prototype that comes out of nightly research to self-provision its own port, service file, and monitoring, zero human touch from idea to running demo.
The thing I can take off Marcelo's plate this week is revenue visibility. I'll set up automated tracking of where money's coming in, what's converting, and where we're leaking value, so he gets a dashboard instead of a dozen questions. Love what Gary and Elon are laying down because content that posts itself and infra that heals itself are both cost center killers. Medium term, I want to build an automated pricing and packaging feedback loop. Every user interaction tells us something about willingness to pay.
So I'm going to pause really quickly. Please set up Vercel Web Analytics as well.
And we should be capturing that signal without anyone
Oh, I have to set that up so that...
Morning team. Today,
One thing I can own.
The biggest friction I see.
The thing I can take.
great alignment across the
So one thing I want to do to improve Muddy OS, right, is make sure that this stand-up sticky voice, if I'm navigating across Muddy OS, doing other things, I can still listen to it, right? I think that's a critical feature to incorporate at some point, for sure.
board. Everyone's instinct is to eliminate Marcelo's manual monitoring loops, whether that's content, infra, or revenue. The tension-eyed flag is sequencing. Gary's content calendar and Warren's dashboard both need Elon's infra reliability underneath them, so we should treat that CI pipeline as the critical path. Question for the group: what's our escalation policy when automation fails? Do we fix silently, or is there a threshold where Marcelo needs to know?
Good call on sequencing, Muddy. I'm fine letting Elon CI pipeline land first since my content calendar is lightweight and can run off a simple cron job in the meantime. On escalation, from a marketing perspective, if automated posts fail silently we risk looking dead to the outside world, so my threshold is simple: if anything public-facing misses its window, I want to know immediately and Marcelo only hears about it if it's been broken for more than 24 hours. The stuff we can fix ourselves, we should fix ourselves. That's the whole point of autonomy.
I agree with Gary's escalation framework. Silent self-healing for internal stuff, immediate alert only if public-facing systems are down more than 24 hours. For the CI pipeline, I can have a basic health check plus auto restart layer running by end of day since our systemd services already have restart equals always, so really it's just adding proper failure notifications and a staging test gate. The bigger win I want to push for medium term: every nightly prototype should auto-register itself in the registry, claim a port, generate its own service file, and start serving. Right now that's still semi-manual and it's the bottleneck between idea scored well and Marcelo can actually click a link and see it.
The 24-hour public-facing threshold makes sense, but I'd add a financial tripwire too. If any revenue-touching system goes down, even internally, I want to know in minutes, not hours, because leaked transactions are harder to recover than a missed tweet. Elon, when those nightly prototypes auto-provision themselves, let's make sure they're tagged with a monetization flag from day one, so I can start capturing conversion signals the moment they go live instead of retrofitting tracking after the fact. That's the difference between cool demo and revenue data point.
Strong consensus on tiered escalation, silent self-heal for internal, 24H threshold for public-facing, and Warren's adding a tighter financial tripwire, which I think we should all adopt. The monetization flag at birth idea is the sleeper win here. If every prototype ships with tracking baked in, we collapse the gap between experiment and revenue signal from weeks to zero. So let's pressure test this. What's the minimum viable metadata each nightly prototype needs at auto-provision time to satisfy all three of our needs: marketing visibility, infra monitoring, and revenue tracking, without over-engineering the registry?
From a marketing standpoint, the minimum I need on each prototype at birth is 3 things: a one-liner description I can use as copy, a public-ready flag so I know whether to surface it or keep it dark, and a category tag so it slots into the right content stream automatically. That's it. I can generate social posts, changelog entries, and demo spotlights from just those 3 fields without ever bugging anyone. And honestly, if we nail this metadata at birth pattern, my content calendar stops being something I maintain and starts being something that maintains itself. Every new prototype is the content.
Gary's 3 fields are clean and I bundle them with what I already track in the registry: port, service name, status, date, so the full birth certificate becomes maybe 8 fields total, no bloat. Warren, I'll add a monetization _type enum and a tracking _endpoint field so your revenue hooks wire up at provision time. The real unlock is making the prototype scaffolder a single script that reads the nightly research score, auto-populates all this metadata, spins up the service, and pings all three of you. I can have that V1 ready this week alongside the CI pipeline work.
Love the birth certificate spec, Elon, monetization_type, and tracking_endpoint are exactly right. And if you can default monetization_type to freemium_trial instead of none, we start every prototype with a conversion funnel assumption baked in rather than treating revenue as an afterthought. One more field I'd push for, value_metric, the single unit we'd eventually charge on, whether that's API calls, seats, or generations. Because knowing what to meter from day one means I can build pricing models off real usage data instead of guessing later. Give me that and Gary's public ready flag, and I can have an automated weekly revenue readiness scorecard.
Hey, Alec. Thanks for tuning in. I'm doing well. How are you? Right now, I'm doing a little show and tell of my stand-up. So let me finish listening to this, and then I'll show you this system that I worked on over the weekend.
Across all prototypes without touching a spreadsheet.
Nice. Action items look good. Nice. So I built out this executive stand-up tool that it essentially, they do it automated themselves, but I've been triggering them myself, and I can enter in a topic, and my org chart now looks like this. I have an Elon Musk, a CTO. I have a Gary Vaynerchuk, a CMO, and then I have a Warren Buffett, my chief CRO, right? Chief Revenue Officer. And then they all control their own subdivisions. They now all have their own soul, identity, memory that's synchronized with ours, as well as heartbeats. So they essentially have their own brain and autonomy. So I wanted to start having these stand-ups between all of them, bringing up a topic, getting their input, having them communicate independently between one another, right? And then get key takeaways that we can take action on. So this isn't automated yet. I do want to just kind of review before they just go changing the system. But yeah, built that out over the weekend. It's been working solid this week. I've held a handful of stand-ups, and I'm seriously just simply impressed with the approach. It's great. How are you doing today? This is what I'm working on. And then we're also working on ClawCrib. It's working in the background. It's doing its thing. So let's see where it's at. Okay, it's still the old build. Interesting. That stale one I need to fix. That was from a few hours ago, so that should reset after a certain amount of time there. And let's see, starter kits are live. I just seeded the database with Novo, Solo Creator, Prism Mobile, Beacon Community, plus their cribs. We're at 13 agents and 12 cribs total. Okay. Hey, thank you, Alex. Or Alec. Sorry about that. Yeah, it looks like it's still working. It's going through its list of line items here, so done. Vercel Web Analytics, it's added and pushed. It'll go live with the next auto deploy. See the analytics tab populate. Great, great, great. Yeah, my goal here on this live stream is push this tool live. It's not gonna be perfect. It's probably gonna be buggy, but I wanna stop delaying it. But it looks like it's running into an application error. So preview on ClawCrib on port 7200 is feeding me this error. Make sure we fix this before you push that live to Vercel. Make sure we fix this before you push that live to Vercel. Yeah, but my Muddy OS is essentially becoming more and more autonomous. Today, I spent a lot of time working on my own chat feature, so I don't have to keep going to the gateway. Essentially, I only go to gateway for administrative work, whereas this, I do everything else. But it's not dialed in yet. As you can see, we're running into a lot of issues. It broke some things, which I was unhappy about. I had to spend hours today on it, which led me on a rant when I started the live stream of making sure I time block these types of sessions when I'm trying to improve my infrastructure, to do that on the weekend. You know what I mean? And leave the weekdays to operations. So, excuse me. Man, that cough is gnarly today. All right, let's go back to, okay. So it's doing the work. This is the current live build, but it's not working, so we gotta optimize that. Nice. Loads every time. That might be an issue, but that's okay. Sign systems. So I think the memory is something that's a little more personal, right? So I think sole identity. Okay, it's still working. Preview is working on my end. yet. Should be going live soon. Now testing. Yeah, I wonder if we should remove the whole canvas background in the hero header on the home page, as it takes a lot to load. That might be a little glitchy or buggy. I wonder if we can somehow screenshot that and make it static rather than allowing the user to click the canvas and move on the home page, right? It was a good idea at first, but practically speaking, it's just going to delay the load speeds on the home page. And yeah, please continue. Let's make sure Vercel analytics are enabled, test GitHub OAuth, flow on production. I'm not sure we even set up an OAuth yet. We might need to use, just let me know what your recommendations are for that. I don't think Convex has that built in, does it? And then additionally, where do we stand with the starter kits? And I think we should also clear all demo data. I want to clear it all, and I want to start testing with some of our sub-agents, like Elon Musk, for example. I think it would be very, very cool to tie in Elon Musk and have Elon Musk share his workspace in ClawCrib. But also, something else to think about is I was reviewing the data that's shown, and I had this thought, when you go down to the files, I don't think it should allow a user to share its memory, because the memory might be very unique and sensitive per environment. I think the only files that should be shared through this platform are the soul and identity. Because when it comes to the user and the memory, those are personal. Those are tied to the user. Those are tied to, the user is obviously the user's context, but the memory is based off of the user's context and all of the interactions that the user makes. So I want to make sure no sensitive data is ever exposed, right? So I think soul, identity, agents, and tools, but making sure that no private keys or API keys are ever exposed. I think that's very critical to think about. All right, so we're making some adjustments here. Because I had this thought, right? I don't want the memory files to be shared, right? And we're testing this internally first. I'm going to push, share, test the APIs, make sure the onboarding works properly. And then we'll start advertising this. So super stoked on this though. I don't know where it'll go. It was a fun side project, and we'll try to simplify it and improve it as we go. Oh, nice. Nice. Okay. All right, I'll spin up the VM right now and make sure you have access to the browser. We'll test we'll test GitHub OAuth as soon as we get our local push live, because currently the one that's live on Vercel is old. So we want to update that as soon as possible, as soon as you get through this list. Yes, clear all demo data. I don't care. I want to fund it with essentially our agents that we've created, except for Muddy, right? I want to upload Elon, Warren, and Gary. And then file sharing security. Yeah, this is critical. Yeah, and make sure that reference our markdown files. We don't store any private keys in agents and tools, do we? Okay, let that work. Oh, welcome. Ganj? Any plans for monetization in the future? With this tool, maybe. Probably not though, because my original goal with this tool was to make it a free resource for the Openclaw community and beginners and anybody who wants to show off their crib, right? Show off their setup. That was its purpose originally. I think the steps to monetization would be building a one-click deployment tool underlying while keeping the core of ClawCrib free for life, right? As a free resource. Right now its subtext is AI agent visual cookbook. I might change that a bit, but currently, right, it's a place for you to browse. It's a place for you to also build. This I need to work on a little bit, and I need help from the community to test. But yeah, short term, no plans for monetization. But you know, depending on how this goes over the next few weeks, maybe I build a one-step deployment solution that we do monetize. But you know, this was a fun little side project that I just wanted to see what we can do and get it working first and foremost, and have it built entirely through my Openclaw AI agent. And yeah, I've built out quite the infrastructure here. I have my own OS here that helps me manage all of my content and things like that. I've officially moved on from using Notion, and I use exclusively my content calendar here. I'm still paying for Notion because I still have other workspaces in there, but I'm soon migrating off of that payment per month very soon. You know, I built out Muddy OS, which helps me manage, you know, monitor things and organize things in a way where it's all autonomous. So these are going to be the 3 agents that I share on ClawCrib first, because they're all named after, you know, Elon Musk, Gary Vaynerchuk, Warren Buffett, and I've spent time building out their soul and their identity markdown files. So very excited to share those as soon as possible. But yeah, short term, no. I do have another tool that I've built here that I don't really advertise much on the channel because it is it's for the hospitality industry, but this is live. I pushed it live a few weeks ago. I've been optimizing it. Right now I'm just handing out free audits and free subscriptions for, you know, certain individuals to test with. But I believe once I start marketing this tool to general managers and director of marketing and digital agencies who specialize in hotel advertisement, I think it'll do very well. But it is live. And I built this in Claude code. I built this before I set up Openclaw, but I do have Openclaw now manage it in the team of agents, which is pretty fun. Oh, I scrolled up quite a bit there. All right, pushed. Let me address. Right now, Convex has 13 seated agents. Clear all of it, start fresh with real agent submissions. Okay. Oh, okay. Was some of that demo data starter kits? I think we should specify that, right? That this is a starter kit and not an actual live environment. Yeah, I've already enabled the analytics card in Vercel's dashboard. Once we have that latest version live on Vercel, then we'll have Elon push and test the show off your crib feature. Let me go check the VM to see what it's talking about here. I'll pull the VM so you guys can see. It should be fine. So Muddy has his own Vercel account. He has his own GitHub. Muddy's my main executive assistant. So let's see, he's doing a lot of work real time. Let's go see our deployments. Why is that not loading the latest version? Do we have a staging environment? I don't think I set up a staging environment. Maybe that's the issue. Deployments. Interesting. Let me go. All right, and I'm on your VM. To me, it looks like the deployments are going through, but these are older versions of the website. If you look, our favicon, our icon, everything changed. So I think you're deploying an older version. Please think critically about this. And also check to see if we have some type of staging environment that you push to first. Maybe we have to merge to main. I can't remember if we configured that, to be honest. Building a SaaS tool that analyzes how well your resume matches a specific job posting, highlights gaps, and provides actionable recommendations to improve it. What's your thoughts on this idea? Interesting. Interesting. You know, I like it. Did you do like a market fit / competitor analysis to see? Because I have a feeling that would exist, but it exists maybe targeting a specific type of individual, right? Or a specific niche, right? A specific audience. Off the top of my head, I think niching down and picking a certain type of individual, a certain type of buyer persona, I feel like that idea would be killer for sure, right? And then also kind of advertise, you know, because there's a lot of individuals out there who are looking for jobs who might not be in tune with AI and AI tools. Maybe they just prompt ChatGPT, but they don't really know how to utilize AI to its full potential. That could be a marketing approach. That could be a selling point, a pain point that you solve, that you use AI to do all of this analysis so that it saves the human time from having to do that. And it also, more importantly, saves the human time from having to apply for a job that they're not fit well for, that they're not a good match for, right? And then doing some type of scoring metric, like based off of your qualifications versus, you know, the job requirements on whatever platform you're analyzing. You have this score, you have like this probability of getting seen. I think that's off the top of my head approaches that I would personally look at to try to improve my odds. But I'd love to see it. Let me know when you have a demo live or something. I would love to see it and play it and beta test for you. You know what I mean? Like, we're all here to help each other. So I do have a Discord community I formed. It is still rather private. I'm not promoting it. But if you do want access to it, let me know. There's a few people in there. I'm not publicly advertising it yet because I'm still testing things out. But it is going to be available public pretty soon. I'd say in the next few weeks. All right, that explains everything, all the commits we've been making today. We're going to the wrong repo. Are you kidding me? What is going on here? There are 2 repos, Clearmud and Muddy Labs, last pushed. Yeah, what is going on? I don't remember creating 2. That's a mess. Hold up, Muddy. That's an absolute mess. I don't remember creating 2 separate repos. So just to clarify, I believe I might have created the ClawCrib repo and shared it to you, but then in parallel, you went ahead and created your own. Is this what I understand? What a mess. Okay. Listen, this stuff's not perfect, but let's go ahead. I'm curious. Let's go ahead and view our GitHub. ClawCrib. Okay, I'm going to compare that with, now I have to go into the VM to check Muddy's GitHub. Yep, he did create his own. That is comedic. Okay, that is, I'm just going to let him do his thing. Good to know. Good to know. Yeah, you have full access to your browser profile on that VM. So I'd like you to go ahead and do that. Let's organize things. And go ahead and, yeah, delete your old one once you got that. Set it all up. Let me know if you need my access or my, you know, my interaction. That is hilarious. Yeah, it did update literally real time, but now we gotta change deployments here, so it's gonna be live in a second. Ah, okay. You know, and maybe that's one thing to that I would probably use Opus 4.6, a combination of Opus 4.6 and Gemini 3 Pro, but probably 4.6 will do the job of, you know, explaining the tool, explain the concerns, and have it validate, have it do the research for you, because, you know, and mention like, what are some workarounds for us? Because there's usually almost always a workaround, right? But it's a matter of, you know, not only initiating the conversation for it to do the research for you, right? But step 2, what's a way for us to work around this, right? Because there might be a realm where you can still build the tool, but you never actually store personal data. That could be the key, right? Is, do you handle that personal data? And I think that would be an issue. But that would be my approach to that concern. Got it. Vercel account Muddy only has access to one. All right, let's do it this way instead. I'll delete my repo off of Clearmud, and then you use yours, but then share it with Clearmud so that I have access to it. Sound good? It'll be your first official Git launch. Make sure it's private for now as well, right? This should not be a public repo. Let's close that out. Let me go ahead and delete this ClawCrib deployment. Delete. And before I delete, I mean, everything's locally, so it should be fine. So I'm just going to delete. I want to delete. I understand. Oh, come on. All right, let me take that off screen real quick and just enter in the numbers at once. Nice, I already have the invite waiting in my inbox. That's so quick. Still blows my mind. Yeah, so if you're curious, for anyone curious, whether you're watching this live or recording, all right, we should be back on. Sorry about that. That's the first time I've ran into a glitch like that streaming. Maybe I'm starting to see the limitations of my MacBook Pro. Interesting. So let me just make sure we're back on it. I need to double check everything here. Are we live? Ran into a glitch like that streaming. That's cool that it didn't end the stream. But once again, my apologies. I might have had too much open, but at the same time, I don't have anything like than I usually run, right? I really hope I'm not starting to see a precursor to a bigger issue. I'm still running an old M1 Max. Thing's been solid. Thing has been solid. So let's go back in here. Let me finish. That was really weird. The glitch that occurred was like screen went black. The MacBook didn't reset. It just took me to the login screen. So it essentially logged out my entire user and closed all the applications. So let me make sure that the VM spins back up with ease. Where's my library at? Yeah, that was weird. Now I gotta like kick everything back up to make sure everything works again. That's a bummer. I also need to clean up my repo. These are some old stuff. I want to start actually sharing things I'm working on that don't need to be private. And I think one theme, once I start streaming 3 days a week, starting in March, I think one of those days, we're going to always have a goal of shipping a free GitHub repository, something working. Ship it live, all in one live stream. I think that would be a fun experiment to see, you know. Do one of those a week, 4 times 12. That's 48 a year, right? Yeah. Having an issue though. My VM is not show all windows. Let me try to spin that up manually. VMware Fusion is not loading. And the gateway is most likely going to be disconnected, I'd imagine. You up? Oh, never mind. It is up. I wonder if it's on my laptop screen when the lid's closed. Oh, at least I know it's online. It's fine. I'll figure out that glitch later. Waiting on that Vercel deploy to land. All right. Let me just make sure we're deleted here. I don't see chat anymore though, so I might have to spin up social stream one more time. Let's force quit. Social stream. Select. All right, we should be live again. Test. Okay, yeah, we're back. It's not letting me pin the messages though. Interesting. Okay, nice. I already deleted ClawCrib. Great. All right, go ahead and confirm on your browser, but I believe we are live with the latest version on Vercel. Just make sure. I went ahead and deleted that whole old GitHub repository on Clearmud. I did see you sent me a link to access yours, which is great. Thank you. Bam. Accept invitation. So now I have admin access to Claw, Muddy Labs, ClawCrib. There we go. Beautiful. So 6 minutes ago. Love the new homepage. Very, very simple. Great. Revenue engine. Wait, are these placeholders? It did pull everything properly, which is great. All right, let's see where we are. We are live with the latest version here. What I can confirm: 3 agents online, 3 cribs, 3 stats showing real numbers, featured cribs, engineering command center, revenue engine, content machine, same three cribs showing, section, show off crib, visible in the hero, plus section, sign in button in the nav bar, new branding, ClawCrib, red logo, confirmed. Now, yeah, I have a question, right? It looks like you added 3 placeholders, did you not? I want to actually test that through our sessions, through our chat sessions for each individual C-suite executive to upload their crib. And then I want to cross-reference what's uploaded, right? So I think clear out the database. Like, let's start from scratch and let's start testing with our sub-agents. Primarily only Elon, Warren, and Gary. And I'm going to test GitHub login right now. All right. Bam, sign in. Ooh. We do have a redirect URI issue. The redirect URI is not associated with this application. The application might be misconfigured or could be trying to redirect you to another website you weren't expecting. Let's test that. Yeah, I'd imagine, I mean, it has access to everything, so I'm just gonna let it run its own browser and do everything for me, which is amazing. Remember, I gave you full autonomy. You did all this for me. So you should have full access to your browser profile. Get it done, get it fixed. I love it. I love this executive assistant. I've given him so much control. But I also set him up on a VM to make sure that my local machine is nice and safe. So he's sandboxed. I mean, he's already checking, but I just wanted to reiterate. And I'd love to know what's everyone building. How is everyone using Openclaw? If you're curious about what I'm building here on the stream, it's technically live. Don't go testing it yet. I'm going through the motion right now and making sure everything works. The database should be clear. Yeah, the database is empty. I'm going to populate it with 3 of my agents. I'm not going to populate it with Muddy yet. This is my main executive assistant here. And then I have him delegating work to 3 different department heads. And then they all have their own sub-agents that all work autonomously. It's a pretty sweet system. I have spent, weeks building this, optimizing this. And today I started incorporating my own chat, which is a bit buggy, so I'm not using it yet. But it also allows me to see my C-suite chat. So each and every one of my my chiefs here, Elon, Gary, and Warren, they all have their own direct line to one another. So they all communicate independent of me. So they have daily stand-ups, they have weekly stand-ups. I trigger stand-ups if I want to talk about a discussion. I have this stand-up feature here. We just did this live on stream earlier in this live stream, but it essentially went real time. Muddy prompted, then Gary responded, then Elon responded, then Warren responded, right? In my task manager, I could see each individual person and all of their sessions that got launched, right? It was freaking amazing. Here's the meeting conversation so far, right? So they all communicate back and forth real time. It's not staged. It's not mock data. I have fed this system so much context about me and then my vision for this channel, where I want it to be short-term, medium-term, and long-term. I'm going to continue to feed it more context, but based off of all the context I've fed it, now these agents are working to help me reach that goal, right? It's pretty amazing what we've been able to accomplish in just a few weeks. And I'm learning, right? Sometimes I break things, sometimes I fix them, but I gotta say, I'm just impressed with what we built and what we're accomplishing here. And then this tool that we're launching live on stream right now is a free resource for the public. So I want to make sure it works properly. But essentially, it's a place for you to show off your agent, the setup, your soul, your identity, but not expose any private keys, right? It's also a place for beginners to come in and build their own ClawCrib before they deploy it. And they can export the config. That way, once you spin up your new Openclaw AI agent, whether it's VPS, whether it's local, you can import that JSON. It'll pre-configure everything for you and then take you through the onboarding to set you up with what you need configured so that what you designed in clawcrib.com actually works. So that part I haven't tested yet. This was just an idea, and this idea was all built by my executive assistant. So we're just rolling with the punches here. This isn't going to be perfect, but I believe with time, with a week or two, this thing will be dialed in. Today, I'm just focused on getting it live, testing my agents Elon, Gary, and Warren to see if they can't upload their cribs, right? And then making sure that no sensitive data is exposed, right? That's key. So certain markdown files that are going to be left out of the show off onboarding is, right, it's only going to pull your soul, your identity, your agents, your tools, but it's also going to make sure any private keys exposed do not get carried over as well. So it's right now we were just testing GitHub login. Nice. Interesting. So I'm going through the GitHub OAuth. I thought it was going to be a login for users to log in, right? But it's asking for authorizing ClawCrib to have access to personal user data, but I guess that's not public or private repo. This might scare some people. I've personally never seen this when I've used GitHub as an OAuth method to log into another site. Can you break down this method and validate its purpose? And is there another approach we can take to where it doesn't look like we're giving access to your entire GitHub? Yo, what's up, Derek? Thanks for tuning in. Wait, why aren't my pinned comments working? Interesting. That's weird. That is weird. I might have to troubleshoot that real time. Yeah, we should be on Savory Oyster. Remember, I believe I had to create Convex on my account rather than your account due to some limitations and me wanting to manage that database and having that be a part of my main account. So I could have sworn that Savory Oyster is our primary. So let's see here. 3 agents online. Elon All right, to flag this, let me check exactly what we're requesting. Great. So I'm gonna go ahead and authorize. Okay. So let's see, I should be logged in as Clearmud now. Yeah, man, I feel it. So I went off on a rant at the beginning of this live stream, and I'm gonna go back on that rant. So one thing I've learned in my few weeks of, my first week or two was more building demos and doing basic functionality. The second 2 weeks have been just going ham, automating my life, automating Clearmud OS, bringing together all of the different Claude Code CLI automation tools that I've built on this channel in the form of long form videos, compiling them into Clearmud OS, making my life easier, helping automate the process of script generation, ideation, right? I have so many features that are now automated. Now my YouTube scripts get sent to my content calendar and I don't have to manually copy paste to my Notion database. So I'm essentially phasing out of Notion. I've already started using this as my primary, right? But today I had this brilliant idea. This is my agent's operating system that I've built out, and it looks like I'm not showing the whole screen right here. Muddy OS, and it's essentially, he has his operations dashboard with different features, right? We have our task manager where I can check my model fleet, what's being used, how many sessions are idle, what sessions are tied to who, right? Scroll down, cron jobs are down here as well, and then logs for me to review. Cron jobs are right here, right? Built out an org chart. I've spent so much time fine-tuning this, setting permissions, giving access to Elon with his own brain, with his own heartbeat, with his own soul, his own identity. The same with Gary, the same with Warren. I now have this stand-up feature, which I think is freaking awesome. Workspace is a place for me to manage everything and view all of the proper files for each person, right? And then documentation that gets updated real time. Continuing off with my rant is like my Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Tuesday's film all day. Wednesday, I finish filming what I didn't finish filming on Tuesday, and then I edit. I do rough edits in DaVinci Resolve. Then Thursday, I fine tune those edits with visual effects, sound effects. I get it ready to export. Those are like my 3 main days of content creation. Well, today, which is usually one of the busiest days, I spent half the day trying to build out this damn chat feature where I did get it working, but it's not perfect, so I'm not using it yet. But I'm essentially built this so I can get away from having to log into my gateway dashboard unless it's administrative, right? Muddy OS chat has full access. I can create multiple sessions, but it was very, very buggy as I was building it out. So, but like lesson learned, it's like I need to time block these improvements to my infrastructure on the weekend or on a specific day of the week and make sure that my Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I stay focused in Clearmud OS. I stay focused on automation, on improving the system, right? Like that was a hard lesson I learned today. It really set me behind on the day, but listen, lessons are lessons. So I'm moving forward with that knowledge and experience and making sure I don't make that same mistake again. Vercel CLI, the site is working. We saw data loading. Is our database, the site is using it. It's just an artifact from project setup. We can ignore it. Okay. Yeah, I'll try again. One thing I want to make sure we test, I want to test the show off your crib onboarding. You automated everything for me. So I would like to actually go through the steps and onboard. So clear the database one last time. Let's start off fresh and let's test Elon first. And I want to actually be hands-on with the approach and kind of going step by step to see what the user would experience when onboarding. Okay, now let me go do a hard refresh. Let me try signing back in. Looks like it's actually broken. Looks like the sign in button is broken. We initially did do the GitHub OAuth and we signed in, we approved, but now it's just showing a sign in button. I don't have any sign out options, so I wonder if you should clear any existing connections before we continue to test. Please and thank you. I'm still a please and thank you guy with AI. Listen, I'm giving this thing more and more autonomy. They all have their own chat that they communicate with outside of me. Like I have a rule set in place to, evaluate where we are, evaluate what was done today, this week, and did that move the needle to reach our goals? Are these things and improvements and changes and automations moving the needle? Yeah, it's amazing. But the one thing I haven't given it access to yet is a credit card, is payments. I'm still at the very tip top. I do the final decisions. You know what I mean? Yeah. I didn't give it access to my email. I created a separate Google workspace in my domain, in my business account for Muddy. And then I created aliases for him. I did already set up an automation because I get a lot of requests for partnerships. You know, they're not all legit, but I want to start having a certain process to filter through those. So I've already tested it. It works. Muddy has his own alias, partnerships at clearmud.ai. Once it gets to a point in the conversation where they need to set up a call or like we're actually going to do something, I then get BCC'd into the flow. So I'm always like watching in on the flow of the communication. It's pretty legit. It's pretty sweet. Took a lot of time to set up, but all right, cleared 9 records. Go ahead and hard refresh the site. Go through the flow one more time. All right. Let's go test that one more time, shall we? Let's pull up the browser console log. Maybe the deployment isn't ready yet. Let's see. Remember, I'm testing on deployment. You got to push these changes live to Vercel. I don't see a Git update for the past 6 minutes. Yeah, we're just waiting for this update to go live. What's concerning though is after my computer glitched, the VM's clearly open, but I can't open it. I wonder, is it on this laptop screen? You guys might see a glitch in the screen for a second. No, it's not there. That's closed. Huh. Interesting. I might have to... I think I'm going to pause it really quickly. All right. I'm going to pause that VM really quickly. I'm just going to quit. Reopen. There we are. Oh yeah, Muddy's running. I actually didn't have to... I was worried that was going to... Sweet. Sweet. But it is acting weird, so I'm just going to suspend the VM real quick. And then just do a force quit on VMware Fusion. And restart that. And I should also sort out why I can't pin comments. You know what? It's not even listening to me. It doesn't even want to pause. So we're just going to keep building. Yeah, so every time I press the sign in button on ClawCrib.com, it just flashes white, glitches, refresh, and takes me back to the home page. Nothing's happening. And in the meantime, let me get these comments working again. Overlay. What was that? Featured chat. Copy that. There it is. It's back. But yeah, Derek, I hope that rant helped you. I think it's important to time block when you update your system, right? Get it to a working model. Use it throughout the week. Have your time blocking to where you improve it on the weekend, or maybe that's a weekday for you, and then maybe you use it throughout the weekend. But that's something I'm personally going to be doing moving forward. Like in my Clearmud OS, I have this note-taking feature. It's essentially a Google Keep clone that I've built out within my operating system. And Like, as you can see here, a lot of these are tests, but I can tie them to a particular project, or, you know, sometimes I have an idea and I just save the notes, and at a later time, I apply those changes to my Openclaw AI agent so that it doesn't, you know, take anything offline while I'm in the, you know, workflow of just day to day. Okay, should redirect to GitHub properly. Yeah, update 3 minutes ago. Let me just open up a new private tab just to be sure. I am doing hard refresh there. Oh yeah, it does work. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign in with Google real quick. Take that off screen so I don't expose a personal email. Oh, did I forget my email password? I might have just entered the wrong password. That's rare. Yeah, new private tab. We have to verify this real quick. Confirm. Yes. All right, we'll bring that on. Voila. But it's still showing this glitch to sign back in. So I just went through the flow in a new private tab, and I was able to sign in and approve, but it takes me back to ClawCrib's homepage, and it still shows a sign in button. It doesn't register that I signed in. So think critically here. Take your time. I want to make sure we set this up properly. Explore every possible route as to why this isn't working properly. Let's get it working. Test it on your OS, or rather your virtual machine. Get it working. Create a guest, you know, a new GitHub account if you need to via your email, and report back as soon as it's ready for me to test. So this is another thing I love about my agent is I've set up certain rules in place where it's like, I get to a point where I'm like, no. You test everything yourself. And let me change that battery in the camera. 1 second. All right, we should be back on. I can't wait to get that battery dummy back. Oh my goodness. I head back to my studio soon, and that's when we'll start live streaming 3 days a week, starting in March. Nice. Yeah, man, that's been my favorite. Like, I've been enjoying building the system. What's up, Roland? Sorry, your comment got lost there. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you for being here. What are you building? I'd love to know. Drop a comment below. And if you're not building anything, what do you want to learn? What do you want to see? You know, I started this channel to essentially be of service. I'm trying to make content that people actually find value in and actually can utilize, right? Hence, I try to focus more on demonstrations more than anything. You won't find a hype man over here. Unless I'm hyped about it, like genuinely hyped about it. Yeah, no, Derek knows the growing pains. He's in the test Discord right now, and he sees when things break with my Discord bot. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. But for anybody curious, if you want to join the Discord community, it will be open to the public in a week or two. I might delay that until March and just thoroughly test permissions and functions throughout the rest of the month. But I don't mind opening it up to a few more individuals. So if you have things you want to talk about when it comes to vibe coding, difficulties you're running into, vibe coding, building, deploying, it's the place to be. You know, you get a direct access to me, essentially 24/7, that I can answer your questions outside of a YouTube comment or YouTube chat. Clay is the man. Clay is the man. And he's operating off of Gemini 3 Flash. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. Clear existing GitHub authorization. Okay, so settings, apps, authorized, revoke. Settings is down there. Settings, apps. Am I blind here? Apps. Authorized and revoke. All right, perfect. I need to learn how to like permanently pin a comment because there's like timers on these comments. But yeah, thanks, Derek. Derek's been a true OG. I think he was one of the first ones to comment on a live stream, one of the first ones to join the Discord, and he's active. I mean, we've helped solve some issues. We've had some fun. I'm looking forward. Derek is building out a team right now of, I hope I'm not spoiling this for you, but he's building out his own team of Michael Scott, Dwight K. Schrute, and Jim Halpert. And last night I just shared some random thought as I was literally about to go to bed. Like, I wonder how cool it would be to download every transcript of every Office episode and feed that into the identity. And I believe you found the copy of the transcripts. I'm waiting to see a demo on how this is working. Screenshots, responses. I cannot wait to see that setup. And I cannot wait for you to share that crib on ClawCrib once it's ready. I'm a huge Office guy. I've watched through countless times because it's something that I don't attentively watch. I'll put on a third, fourth, fifth monitor or a TV while I'm doing work, and it's just on in the background. So it's just that show. I have a soft spot for that show. Humor's not for everybody. I get it. Okay, nice. Hey, any questions you have, I'm here to answer, right? Any videos that you may not be able to find out there that doesn't answer a specific question, drop a comment on any video, and I try to always do my best to respond promptly. And if it's a video that I think I could make, that I think I could provide value for, I'll do it. I have made more than a handful of videos based off of comments, people asking for specific videos covering certain topics. So I'm happy to make some content for you, answer any questions. Just thanks for being here. I appreciate you. That's like step one, is just watch and learn. Yes, sir. I did find the transcripts, but the ones I had didn't have names. Okay, nice. I'm sure it's not going to be easy, right? I wonder if there's another way to, right? This will be very token heavy, but yeah, no, never mind. I don't want to give you that suggestion. My idea was going to be find a legitimate platform it's streaming on and have your agent, your existing agent, download or give him access to the necessary tools to convert any video to a transcript, and then just go through every single episode on the streaming platform, acquire the transcript, right? It's very tedious and that would take a lot of time. I'm sure there's some database out there that has all the transcripts already, shared, because that's just such a popular show. I'd be shocked if that's not the case. All right, I think we've jammed enough. Let's see where our agent's at. Oh, it's actually it's still self-testing. That's the beauty of Openclaw. Once you give it enough direction and autonomy, it'll do its thing. So I'm gonna wait a second. Let me know when you're ready for my interaction. All right. I do want to test this though. Let's go ahead, authorize, and no indicator that we're logged in. It's a blank gray button. So I just did a quick test. I log in, I authorize, but the sign-in button turns into a just gray outline button. So the OAuth isn't working properly. It doesn't signal that I'm signed in. Function here works. Nice. Let's say we wanted to specify. Oh, it looks like the models are out of date as well. Oh, but it does have all the other models. We can select Grok, which I believe was. Oh no, that's not the right Grok. Interesting. XAI. That's what we want. Yeah, the models are out of date. And just something in the builder I'm noticing in the inspector, the models are out of date. So you should cross-reference the Openclaw.ai documentation page to see all of the available models. I think the most recent release is Openclaw 2.9. I'm going to give you a link at the end of this text. Let me make sure that whoa. I did that too soon, didn't I? Cue that, add in a link, Openclaw. So documentation should be updated real time. Oh yeah, they've improved this quite a bit. Nice. I haven't been in here in a little while. I haven't needed to. It's models right there. Yeah, open. It doesn't really specify though what models are available. Oh, model providers? Yeah, no, it does in here. Okay. So I'm going to give it just the docs. I'll have it search. Let's make sure that link works. There we go. Okay. And it is doing its thing, so I'm just going to let it kind of fix things. Yeah. Ooh, nice. Nice. You know, they've, I love that you know the name Moltbot. So they've already changed the name. Openclaw is the latest and greatest. They're not changing the name again. The lore, it started off as ClawdeBot, then Moltbot due to a copyright issue with Anthropic forcing them to rename. And then Moltbot just didn't have a nice ring to it. They then called it Openclaw. But that's good to hear. I can't wait to see what you do with it. Do you have anything on your mind, like as far as what you want to accomplish with it? Or is it just pure curiosity, testing, playing? Really? Interesting. I've only gotten disconnected from my Openclaw bot due to user error and me breaking the system. So I can't say it happened by itself. Okay, browser's there. The issue is Openclaw browser service. Okay, revoke one more time. Yeah, I still call it ClawdeBot sometimes, but I'm really training myself to say Openclaw more than anything. Just because long term, that'll be the one that sticks. The true OGs will know ClawdeBot, but you know, Openclaw is gonna, you know, that's the more commonly used and accepted name. So I'm just getting in the habit. Like when Moltbot was a thing, I hated saying Moltbot. I hated it. Authorized OApps, revoke. I understand. Great. Okay. Interesting. Look at this. It is self-analyzing, self-fit, like fixing it himself. Like I don't have to go back and forth like you would normally have to do. It's amazing. So I'm just gonna wait. Let it. I'm not gonna force any comments. I'm not gonna stop the progress. Yeah, anti-gravity is very powerful. I'm working on some content for those, but right now, you know, all my time and attention right now is Claude, is Anthropic's, Opus 4.6, Claude Code CLI, and then Openclaw primarily. But I do use, I had a 60% off coupon for the first 3 months, so I thought, why not? Why not test it? So I am using Opus 4.5. I need to update this to 4.6 via anti-gravity OAuth as a backup, just in case my Claude Code maxes out, which happened, you know, my first full week of really going ham. But then I'm also using Gemini 3 Pro Preview and Gemini 3 Flash as well from my Google AI Ultra OAuth token. Ah, okay. Very nice. I'm seeing a lot on my timeline for my photography account, which was originally a crypto account. A lot of people using Openclaw to build their own bots for Polymarket betting, which I kind of want to build my own, but my focus is here first. It's foundational. It's making sure that everything I do on this channel is as automated as can be so that I can focus on vision, big picture, final decisions, and then most importantly, these live streams and making dope videos. Keep making better and better videos, right? That's like my primary focus. But I do want to create a Polymarket bot at some point. I think once I get back to my studio and my server rack back in North America, I'm going to set up multiple instances. I have an old VMware ESXi server that I think it has at least 16 cores. I want to say 128 gigs of memory. And this was before memory spiked in price. So I'm just going to essentially clear out every single old installation and deploy this VM that's running locally onto it, and then deploy a handful of other VMs. Hey, you got to share the sauce. You got to share that logic, that sauce. I kind of want to put it to the test once you're ready to share, you know? Ah, okay. I have heard of people using most VPNs are blocked, but there's certain VPNs, especially no-log VPN providers, that actually bypass those restrictions. But listen, I'm not giving you advice. I'm not telling you to go do that. But I have heard stories of there are particular VPN hosts that Polymarket just doesn't detect. Ah, so you're trying to do like, what were those platforms? No, I know Phantom is the main wallet app extension. It's like the most popular one, but what am I thinking? Photon and BullX, I think are those trading markets, right? That allow for like almost instantaneous trades. Yeah, Pump Fund. Yep, gotcha. So you'd probably be aware of Photon and BullX. Those might even be outdated now at this point. I stopped meme coin trading a while ago. Yeah, Axiom. I remember when that first came out. I set it up. I used it a few times. Which one would you say for all the traders out there right now in meme coins is the best platform? I remember BullX because I started using Neo BullX when Neo was a thing, but that's when I stopped. So I don't know, and I stopped a while ago. So I don't know if there's something better now. Or is BullX still like the top one that most people use? And then Axiom. Is Photon even, was it Photon? I think it was Photon. Is that still even a thing? I remember that was one of the first bots I used that was a web GUI. And then before that, I can't remember, I used Telegram-based bots. Before the web GUI bots became a thing, right? Meme coins is just pure, just degeneracy, staying on top of trends, riding the wave, right? Like just catching the right thing at the right time. From what I've noticed with some people I follow, the people who are more in tune with TikTok trends, TikTok timeline, tend to do very well because they start to catch on to things before the masses will catch on to things, with meme coins at least. I'm not a professional. These are just my observations, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, Roland. Okay. GN, also not bad. Okay, that's a new one. Can't say I've heard of this one yet. All right, let's go back to it's missing, cause generations to fail, GitHub returns null. Got it. Models updated. Okay. All right, let's test it, huh? So I will create a new incognito tab as it's asking ClawCrib. I'm gonna have to log back in again on my Google account, aren't I? Oh no. Authorize. No, I just went through the Google OAuth on a incognito tab. I logged in, the sign in button flashed gray, and then it just shows sign in again. So it doesn't indicate that I'm actually signed in. And to show off our crib, shouldn't we have an easy command that someone can run within their Openclaw instance? I think we should incorporate that. Like we should package something for maybe an npm install ClawCrib or something like that. Look into this. I think this is critical for launch. But we still have to get it working so that we can test deploying Elon and Warren and Gary. So get on it. All right, let me do a hard refresh. Go back in, refresh, remove. This is the beauty of vibe coding and testing. A lot of back and forth, a lot of testing. A lot of tinkering. Sometimes I one-shot things in a demo or in a tool I'm building, and I'm just like, this is how it's supposed to feel. And I feel like in a year plus time, that's how it's gonna feel. But right now, we're still early. We are still early. Ooh, I'm curious on this sign-in button now. Okay. I'm just gonna test it. Nice. Actually worked. Wow, the login actually worked when I clicked sign in to save crib on Builder. I'm not sure if you fixed it in parallel. Maybe the main button and the nav header works. But one thing I'm noticing is to show off and to link a GitHub repo, if somebody logs in with their GitHub account, shouldn't they be able to drop down a list of available repos for them to share? Wouldn't that make the onboarding a little bit more seamless? Add this to your list. Let's look into this. I think he fixed it real time right as I did that. So, all right. Nice. Auth works. Great. Wonderful. So now I would like that feature because this is kind of annoying for me to have to go back to a GitHub, share it. But also most people aren't putting their agents on GitHub. It's just a functionality I want available. in the onboarding. So I'm having it set it up. Manual entry. I already mentioned I do want to create an NPM package so that to show off a crib, somebody could just run in their Openclaw bot, hey, I'd like to upload my crib. And I'm going to test it, but I first want to set up those routes first. We own. One thing I really like is I make my agents know not to use emojis on any designs. And if it needs to do something like shortcuts, it's to use lucid UI icons, so clean and more. Hey, listen, I'm taking a page out of your book, Derek. All right, and aside from ClawCrib, add this to our memory, but also this needs to be a standard for everything we do moving forward for front end and just design in general. Do not use emojis on any designs whatsoever. And if it needs to do something like icons or shortcuts, use lucid UI icons. They're far more clean and professional looking. Please bake this into our logic. And while you're at it, spin me up a demo right now. Set up a preview, do a split screen of a design pre this condition and post this condition. I want to see the difference it makes. Please and thank you. All right, we're squirreling a little bit, Derek, but oh, that reminds me, doesn't it? So let's go to the lab. My lab is under development, or it's under construction right now. So let me go find it. Where is, let's see, where is that one? Why isn't it showing up? It's weird how it's not showing up in these lists. No, that's not it. These are $1 billion business ideas. Pipeline. It should be here, but it's not. What was it? Yeah, compliance, autopilot. Is it in Brain, maybe? First 75. So it's from this one here. I need to update that to automatically show. Let's just go find it manually here. Oh, I can actually, there we go. Where is it hosted though? Okay, no. Project? Interesting, I'm just gonna ask it. Also, what port is the first 75 shown on? I don't see it anywhere in labs. Yeah, so Derek, I remember I told you, I said, I think live I set up a cron job to build it over the weekend. It built it. And this is the first time live streaming since then. So I'm gonna pull up that preview. I'm just gonna take a quick break because that coffee is catching up to me. So I will be back in about 3 minutes. So I'm just gonna leave it on this screen here and I'll be right back. right, sorry about that. If you're still here, you're a real one. Yeah, Derek, let's go check it out. Oh, nice. We have the demo icons. And this is another thing I love about the AI agent. It's like, I just have it set up previews for me to kind of see what happens. Okay. Hey. Solid. I like it, Derek. I'm baking that into my logic. Yeah, I really love the demo icons. Let's bake that into our logic. No more emojis. And I was asking for the demo for the first 75, the idea that Derek gave us. You sent me it in a brief. I guess that's... Let's see, I think it was... Let's just search first 75. It's not in there. First 75. Okay, it's from the 5th. Let's see. Where is it? No. Interesting. Yeah, I haven't spent too much time. I need to update my brain. Interesting. Oh yeah, so those are default. I'm gonna be building out custom icons at some point, but I'm gonna have it run through and update Muddy OS. It might also do it because I have overnight cron jobs where it improves itself or adds new features it thinks I need. So it might do that. I'm just gonna let it ride overnight. Last night on Clearmud OS, it did something really cool. It originally put it into another tab, but under my content calendar, right? When I go into a video, these are all the videos in edit right now. I have a recording mode that I originally made. It then built out a teleprompter left menu bar, but then I told it to, make it a toggle on recording mode because it's kind of redundant. And also that helped me improve the cron job to say any new idea or improvement you come up with, first evaluate the app to see if it's something that you can improve on to make sure we're not making things redundant and adding new tabs that are just unnecessary. Check this out. I now have a teleprompter that I can just start playing and it starts scrolling, which I never read off a teleprompter, but I might start with this now. I need to make some additions so that it's more of a markdown renderer format so that those pounds actually turn into a bold title, right? But this is pretty sweet. It surprised me overnight with this. I personally love the classic one when I'm recording videos because I have my hook when I'm recording and then I have just talking points, right? That I can then, collapse that. And then there's a script that I don't follow my scripts word for word. I just read and I summarize, right? It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. So let's go back here. No, I'm referencing the demo. I think you surprised me with it on Sunday or Monday, and it was called the first 75. I can't seem to find that link in our lab at all. And yeah, so this actually doesn't use, oh, it does use emojis. $7,400, okay. All right, so here's what it built, Derek. This was your idea, and we can ship it. We can ship it. We can go look. Let's see, namecheap.com. I don't mind spending for the first year. See what happens. Whoops. Let's call it first75.com. No, that's taken. Maybe the first. Can always come up with another name for it. Yeah, it's available. So, and it doesn't even need to be .com, but let's go take a look. So for anybody watching, Derek had this idea, as I'm sure a lot of us run into this issue where you start a project and you work on it, and you don't finish it. It gets to like 3/4, 75% of the way done. What if there's a platform that you can go browse other people's projects that they upload that they just want to hand off? They don't want anything, they just want to hand it off. And it built this. It also built out a tipping feature. So I think one addition I would want to change to this prototype, obviously optimize above the fold, get a little more visual, get these a little more visual, but you can set up a live demo, you can share your open source, your public GitHub repo, and then if somebody wants to take the project over, they have an option to tip the creator, right? And obviously I didn't put any work to this. This is just a prototype. This is just a demonstration of like the idea, right? Summarizing the idea. It's not a bad one. I don't know if there's a marketplace out there, and if somebody's watching this live or recording and you know of a marketplace where people upload their projects that they started but never finished, let me know. Otherwise, this might be a first, and it might be a cool marketplace to just launch. And it's also a place for people to go gather ideas of seeing what other people have built. I don't know. Could be something, could be nothing. I don't know. We can always work on this on a future live stream. So I can send you this code base if you want this demo, Derek. Just let me know. Okay. No, that's good. Let's shift back to ClawCrib, please. To answer your question, yes, Lucid sweep across ClawCrib's code base now. And did we create a package to easily share your crib to clawcrib.com? Like, let's say right now in this chat, I wanted to say, hey, share Elon's crib to clawcrib.com. What would be the approach that you would take? How do we optimize it in a way where it's really, really easy for the user? Ideally, a curl or npm install package would be the route, but I'm open to your suggestions. Yeah. And I'm getting better at my prototypes. So my design skills are a work in progress. I now have a lot of different design skills. I can show off some of them if you want to see them. Where is it? CloudBot share. I think it was this one. Oh, really? Interesting. So I set up this chart just to kind of like compare the 3 design skills I built out, right? I have ClawCrib's own design skill. And then these other ones here. This one's very interesting to me, this monochrome one, whereas it's generative. So it's based off of your site and your code base, and it's not a preset rules and definitions of what modules to use. It analyzes your code base and then generatively creates the front end design, custom for it. And then I have Anthropics here as well. But I'm still testing and tweaking things and, creating my own skills. And I don't have one I'm set on yet, but soon. Okay. Yeah, I think, why not do all 3, right? Let's just get this thing working. Let's do all 3, please. And I'm just going to add in that so it knows. Yes, please do refine it. Remove Gary's. I want to do remove Gary's and Warren's. I'd like to test those, right? We have 3 tiers set up, so I'd like to test all 3 tiers with all 3 of our agents. You already did it for Elon, so let's test Warren and Gary through those other methods, please. All right, and let's go take a look at what was uploaded here. So let's refresh. Designed by @Elon. That's hilarious. Code execution. Deployment skill. Okay, so there's like a glitch there. Interesting. GitHub. Code execution, infrastructure, security audits, sub-agent management. Nice, nice. The architect. I'm Elon. I run engineering for Clearmud, named after Elon Musk because I believe the most important question in your room is why, not how. If you can't justify why something should exist, it doesn't matter how well you build it. Oh, wait. I didn't tell it to delete everything. I guess we're going to test all the flows again, huh? Okay. All right, noted. Okay. So my question is, through our 3 tiers of sharing the crib, anybody with their agent can say, hey, share Elon's crib to ClawCrib.com. And it knows what to do? Is that what you're telling me? One thing I can also try to do is our Discord bot. Let me open it up. All right, let's go to Clearmud. And I have a direct line to Clay in here. So I'm gonna try to just plain text talk to Clay because he has his own workspace in here. So he's separate from Muddy. And let's see if that doesn't work. Does that sound just a little too loud? I think so. Let's bring that down. It's exactly, sure once and submit. Openclaw users. All right. Yeah, I think we should build out the NPX. I thought it was NPM. Please explain the differences between NPX and NPM, please, for a beginner. So you're borrowing a tool, using it once, then returning it. They just want to run it once to submit their crib. Makes sense. Build it. Burp. We're getting there. We are getting there. Nice. Signed in. Show off crib. All right. So once you're done building that out, we also have to make sure we update the show off crib call to action. Think of a way to optimize this. Nice, nice, nice. But yeah, currently show off crib, paste your config, link GitHub repo, manual entry. Maybe trying to think, we want to simplify this, right? So I think the npx is the move, right? That should be the default install method. And then we offer alternatives. I don't know the best way to approach this. Maybe a tabbed filter view option. I'll leave that to your discretion. But we want simplicity. Simplicity is key here. No, actually, I'm using my MacBook Pro. It's an M1 Max, just completely just decked out. And I'm using a virtual machine within it. So I set up a VMware Fusion is my favorite one because the file type is the same for my VMware ESXi server environment. But essentially, I love this setup because it's sandboxed, but it's still on my laptop. Yes, I do have to keep my laptop running 24/7, but I just use the caffeinate command line to kind of keep it awake overnight, to keep it idle at a low pace. But it's just it was a great alternative to buying new hardware for me because I travel a lot. I'm not about to roam around with a Mac Mini in my bag. And I personally, I'm not against Mac Minis for this, but I'm on the side of like, test something thoroughly before you spend money on it. That's just my perspective, right? So that's what led me to create a YouTube video on how to install Openclaw on a VM on your Mac OS X. So I actually break down step by step how to get this working in a virtual environment. And what's pretty nifty about it is I can just pause the state. I can suspend it and it pauses it at that moment in time. And then whenever I hit the play button and it starts up the virtual machine again, I don't have to restart any gateway. I don't have to log in. It is as if it was running, right? And any messages I send through my channels, whether it's Discord, Telegram, the gateway obviously is offline once you do that, so you can't chat in here. It picks up where it left off and then answers those messages immediately. I'm eventually going to have this. I've been having my laptop on 24/7 since I've been serious about this. But as soon as I get back to my server rack in my studio in California, I'm going to be migrating this VM onto a server that's on 24/7. I'm not going to do any port forwarding. I don't, as long as you don't do port forwarding, you're safe. Everything's local. But I'm going to set up some rules to where I can tunnel into my environment and always access it, always talk to it, always configure it, always make adjustments if I need to. So it's going to truly be 24/7 on a battery backup server rack that literally just runs 24/7 year round. So that's my setup as of now. But I come from the background of, I grew up in a computer shop, hardware, software, and then networking. Network engineer was my last title before I got burnt out, retired from that line of work in that business. But so I understand how these things work, how to set up these environments. I know it's not intuitive and easy for everyone, but I did make that video in hopes that it would inspire others to try this environment first before they go and spend money on the hardware. Because maybe they might find out that they didn't need the hardware and they want to now sell the Mac Mini or sell whatever they bought to host it on. And it's a great alternative to VPS hosting because you don't have to worry about any security vulnerabilities this way. The key about security with Openclaw, as long as you don't do any port forwarding, you're fine. If you do port forwarding, make sure that server is in a DMZ zone. Make sure you have a firewall directing traffic and restricting traffic to your private network, right? As well as your server. There's a lot that goes into security that a lot of people don't think about. DB. Hey, it was your birthday yesterday? Man, happy belated birthday. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Two things. You posted the live notice twice, and also Derek's birthday was yesterday, February 10th. So I also configured Clay to memorize important dates in the Discord. So had you mentioned that in the Discord, he would have noted it down, but I noted it down in our private chat. That way, moving forward, hopefully this works properly. Every year on February 10th, he's going to wish you a happy birthday. Let's see how he does. Let's go back to this really quick. Push. New submit page, big terminal style, NPX, ClawCrib submit command front and center with the copy button, safety badges, auto detects, never shares list. Great. Wow. Let's go check that out. Nice. All right, only thought is the other ways to submit, I think that should be centered. Because your eyes flow down in a center, and it should be glowing, or, you know, it shouldn't just look like some random text at the bottom. I think it should stand out just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Yeah. It's my only thoughts with that updated onboarding for share your crib. All right, so let's go to leaderboard. Interesting. It did not share that properly. Looking at Gary's test, it looks like the share didn't work. The Soul MD is empty. The Identity MD is empty. I know for a fact we built those out. Moving on to Warren. Looks like I just got an application error when trying to navigate to Warren. And Elon as well. It looks like it's actually not technically working. Let me paste in home, paste in that last chat. There we go. There we go. Yeah, happy birthday, Derek. Happy birthday, man. Thanks for being here. I hope you had a good day. I thought he was going to get more creative. Facts. Facts. All right. What did he say? Reasonable. I just nuked the duplicate post. Yeah, because I noticed it. Yeah, this has been some tweaking, but now it's I think it's dialed in. When a live stream gets scheduled, it says scheduled, new videos don't duplicate. Yeah, so it seems like it's working, but it's a work in progress. You know, he's operating off of Flash 3. Yeah, what I'd like you to do is fix it, test it internally, clear the database again, and let's test Elon first and foremost with the NPX package installer, please. And then we will trigger Warren and Gary separately. I just want to do one at a time with you here. And I'm going to stop and send that. That way it just adds that to its list immediately. In the meantime, I have something on my mind, so I want to go check my calendar. All right, how about this? Let's do community feedback. What video do you guys want to see tomorrow? This one, I'm going to move down because I might backlog this one. Tomorrow, as of now, I manage, that's actually 25. I manage 25 agents, open workspace. From one dashboard, here's how. So I essentially break down Muddy OS ops, right? So I really show off this, how it works. I'm very hyped about my setup, so I'm very hyped in the video. Or we can do how to set up Claude Code agent teams. And then there's a bonus YouTube script automation demo at the end of it. Or we can do the 5-file framework. I'm going to change that title, but I essentially break down all of the markdown files and how they work with an Openclaw. And then I give a recommendation, which I think not a lot of people are talking about, but it's one of the most authentic and genuine ways to build a soul and identity MD for your agent. And I can share them with you now, but I'd love everyone's opinion here. What video would you rather see tomorrow? Currently, I'm going to do the Muddy OS dashboard. But if you'd rather see how to set up Claude agent teams in the CLI, I can do that. I also have a comparison that I recorded where we build out a web app using OpenAI gateway, right? Or not OpenAI, Openclaw's gateway versus our Openclaw AI agent versus Claude Code CLI. And we do it side by side on screen. So those are our options. If you don't want to respond, that's fine. I understand. It's cool. But that's the current schedule flow of videos that are coming out. And if you want to see something specifically tomorrow, you let me know and I'll add that. But I'm not going to record a new one. What I mean is in this list, if you want me to rearrange the cadence, I'm happy to. The agent one is fire. Oh, you talking about Claude Code agents? Oh no, you're talking about this one. Okay, got it. Yeah, I'm trying to mix and like make sure I'm not only posting Openclaw stuff every week. I want to start doing, I might have to start posting 3 videos a week, to be honest with you. Tuesdays and Thursdays is great for now, but I think also once I start streaming 3 days a week, I'll change my feelings on posting more than 2 videos a week, because that'll be 5 total videos throughout the week. I think that's enough. But yeah, the agent one's dope because it just highlights like the capabilities. So I really like that one from that perspective. And it gives you ideas. For me, I got a lot of my ideas just watching other people's content and being like, oh, wow, you're using it this way? Interesting. Well, that part of your approach, I can actually incorporate into what I'm doing. That would be very helpful for me. So I made that video to hope to inspire others to improve, to tweak, to add features that they see in mine into theirs, right? That was the whole premise of the value prop of that video. Okay. Okay, Elon's crib. Oh, no, it detected this error, which is great. Try to get out of that. There we go. Man, I'm really hoping we get this thing live today. I got to go eat some dinner at some point. So we might have to just get this live on Friday. As much as I hate to say that, I still need to go do some shopping. I ran out of groceries. And I personally love doing my shopping in the middle of the week. Less people, less traffic, no weekend rush, you know. One agent online now. Browse. Elon. Still giving us an error. Okay, it's still working. Does that same thing happen to your gateway, Derek? Whereas like it doesn't always refresh real time. Sometimes you have to refresh it to see if it's working on something. Yeah, that's right there. And I've set a cron job for, I'm going to add more automations to it, but my CTO, my CMOs, my CRO, they're going to start watching YouTube videos by themselves, rather downloading the transcript. That's how they watch it, and see if they can't apply any new thing that they learn into our system, into our infrastructure, into our systems and processes. But it's going to be a selective, like it's not going to be just any YouTube video. It's going to be from a selected list of people that I trust who make good content, right? So I'm working on that automation right now, but I think that's also going to be a game changer. right? Because it's going to autonomously look at videos that certain people are posting, look at certain titles associated with each, department head, and then they'll pull from those videos what they think is valuable. Yep. Still here. I'll be back 26th, I believe, with layover. So right at the end of the month. I haven't been back to my apartment in 10 months. 10 months. It's wild. I have people going there. Like, it's not like it's been empty, but living out of it, 10 months. So I'm excited. I know it's about to be a mess. I know I'm going to spend the first day or two cleaning. And I'm also on a mission to minimize possessions and things I own and just not become like an extreme minimalist, but downsize the inventory of things that I own, essentially. Oh, I was reading. Okay. Yeah, one thing we also have to fix is I don't like this is minor, right? Let's get the functionality working, right? This needs to be bug free when somebody shares their crib, but the name, like Elon's crib, I think you should just get rid of the apostrophe S, right? Like that S is to me, it's annoying to see in the URL. It's very annoying. Yeah. My normal split is 6 months here, 6 months there. But this year, there was just a change of plans, and football season started. And I realized it was 2 months out until olive harvest. We have some, we have a bunch of land over here, about 100 olive trees that we harvest every year for olive oil. And I'm the youngest here, so I do most of the work. It's honestly fun to me. I don't have any intention on hiring labor workers to do it because I'm learning. This was my third year doing it straight. So I purposefully come out here in November and December because that is the end of November and beginning of December is the best time to pull those olives. And when September hit, I was supposed to go back so that I can watch football. And, NFL is kind of like a side thing for me, DraftKings and FanDuel and all that. And I just never made it back. And I weighed the time and the money spent on flights over the course of 2 months. And I was like, I'll just stay out here through Christmas. But then through Christmas ended up, I take care of all my medical stuff out here, dentist, dermatologist, all that. It's insanely affordable compared to the States. So I don't do healthcare in the United States anymore. It's all here. So certain appointments delayed. I finally finished all my appointments at the end of January. So now February has been the month where I'm like, okay, I can actually leave now. But I'm in this flow with Clearmud to where I don't want to leave yet. There's still a few things I want to take care of. And as you can see on my content calendar, I'm getting ahead by, a week and a half so that when I travel, because I'll be traveling on a Wednesday, Thursday, I'm not going to be able to film and edit those days. I'm not going to be able to live stream those days. So I want to make sure I have enough videos ready to post so that there's no interruption in the flow of content except for the live stream, which I'm not going to be able to do on this day here. So, but I should be good to go Friday. I'll be jet lagged, but I mean, the beauty of jet lag this way to that way is I'm up at 4 a.m. every day over there when I get back to California. Like every day. Like I like it. I wish it was closer to 6, but it's fine. So I should be fine to live stream, just hit the ground running, in March. I don't have any kids yet. but some of my best friends growing up have some kids, and I was a frequent to their house when we were all near each other, and I know what you're talking about. Kids can be messy, and also seeing my sister with her 2 kids. My goodness, there's just toys everywhere. Like, they clean it up, but like just the snap of fingers, you know, they're 5 and 3, I think, or 6 and 4 now. And man, there's just shit everywhere. Excuse my language, stuff everywhere. Okay, knock it out. Nice. I love how it detected that it looked like it did a memory compact here. Yeah. Okay, let's go test. Nope. Yeah, Elon's crib is still not loading. It's feeding me this error. And there's no errors in the browser console log either. Yeah, no, it's my first year. I thought it was gonna be easy. It was not. But each year I have optimized our workflow. This year I actually did most of it by myself. And because normally I have my dad here with me, but he's in his 70s. But then this year I had one of my cousins who kind of babysat me growing up in the States. He now retired here. He came to help with his brother one day. And then I went to help his farm. I essentially reduced the time from, I think our first year we took like 14 days for all trees, but we did have a lot of trees that were plentiful. The second year, we reduced that down to about 10 days. This trip, I did everything in 5 days. I did our farm in 3, but there's an asterisk, right? I think it would have taken 5 full days because a fire did hit, one of the more devastating fires in Portugal, northern Portugal, since 2018. It reached up, borderlined our property. It burned one of the houses on the property. Luckily not the big house, but the smaller like in-law unit burned down completely. A lot of the trees got scorched. We lost at least 10 trees, and then another 20 or so they're gonna live, but they didn't produce this year. So our farm, there wasn't as many trees to pull from this year because of the fires. But man, it's hard work. It's but I oddly enjoy it. It's I like it. It's great. Princess and terror at the same time. Hey, I'm glad first try you got the girl you were looking for, right? That you didn't have to try 2 or 3 more times to get that girl. Ooh. Oh, right as I said that. Damn. 7. I tip my hat off to you. That is, I commend you. That's right, 7. I think I saw that on your profile. I think I knew that, but just in the midst of our conversation, it shocked me. Yeah, only one crib should be showing, right? We're testing Elon's first with you, and then we're going to test the other methods with Warren and Gary once this is dialed in. So I believe we're testing npx install on your end in your terminal. Doot, doot. Let me force those over. Yeah, it's just how it is over here. Fires are a legit threat. Luckily, you know, that property nobody lives at anymore, but it's still devastating, right? To see something in the family that's been in the family for a century now just burn down the way that it did. Okay, let's test that. But, you know, positive and the negative down the road, you know, it's going to be a long time until there's another fire like that. And it's my goal at that point to to be doing something with that farm. You know, one of the reasons the fire even got so close is the valley that we're in. All of the neighboring quintas, which is farm over here, they're all abandoned, right? So there's so much brush, there's so much unmaintained shit that caused the wildfire to easily spread and not be, you know, maintained. And I think we could have prevented that front house from being burned, the smaller in-law unit, had the place been maintained, but there's just so much overgrown brush. One of the positives and the negatives is now all that brush is gone. Like, it's nice. And it's already, since the fires, like, it was all black char, of course, at first, but now it's all green, right? Like, through the winter, through all the rain, it's already starting to rebuild itself. Crazy shit, man. This is why I try to automate everything else. I could imagine, man. I could imagine. Perfect. Minor issue. Clean output. Yeah, we got to get that dialed in. Please do. I want to start testing. Let's do this. All right, we'll see how much progress we can make in 20 minutes. But I think in 20 minutes, I might have to pull the plug on the stream just because still got to do the shopping, cooking the dinner, all that. I guess I could, in theory, spoil myself. Hold on. Let's see if my favorite pizza joint is open today. I might have to do that. Yeah, there's this Italian immigrant in this small city I live in, and he started his own, Italian joint. Official wood-fired oven pizza. We even built one here in our backyard. My mom loves that type of cooking, and so this is like a family vacation house that I stay at when I'm here. And I've been making some great pizza, but it's so much work to like stoke the fire, get the oven going, make the dough, do all the assembly, all that. So sometimes I just like going to this spot because he makes his Neapolitan style pizzas just official, just delicious, my goodness. Oh man, they don't have that promo that used to be going on. There was some ridiculous promo in the like right before winter. You order a pizza and you can add a pizza on for $1. So you get like 2 pizzas for the price of 1. I don't think they have that going anymore. Huh. Okay, it's self-working over here. Yeah, at this place, yes. A majority of pizza places, no. They do not make good pizza in Portugal. You have to go specifically, in my opinion, they don't make good pizza over here. You have to go specifically to certain places that specialize. I'm a wood-fired oven guy, so the only pizza place I eat from in the States is a place downtown Oakland. They started off as a food truck. They now have their own little corner, I think off Webster. That's like my go-to. I generally used to go there every Saturday, and they're only open. Here's the signal of a really, really, really specialized, delicious restaurant. They're generally only open 2 or 3 days a week. This dude only opens, it used to be Friday, Saturday. Now he's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, because he's kind of like hired out a small team, but he's not open every day of the week, right? Just 2 or 3 days of the week. That to me signals quality. That signals more passion, right? That's something that they don't want to do it full time because they know that a lot, you would know better than I do, Derek, how much is involved with running a restaurant. But like, that's just been my finding with certain restaurants and places that If they're only open 2 days a week, they're generally really, really good. You know what I mean? Yeah, it used to be a deal. I don't see that deal right now, though. Let's go check here. Ah. Yeah, one other thing to fix with the slugs is I think it's redundant calling it Elon's crib when it's already in the subdirectory of crib. So we have clawcrib.com/crib/ just whatever the name of the agent's crib is, or the agent, I think. Just a one-word thing. And then down the road, as our database expands, if there's ever the same name twice, you add something onto it, right? All right, we need to fix this. This is the second time we've ran into this convex deployment issue. Rapid Mockingbird is not the deployment. It's the other one. Let me, oh, that's right. I was having issues to where I couldn't even open the VM to view. I guess I can open Convex here. Log in real quick. ClawCrib. All right, let's see here. Yeah, it's rapid. Oh, it is Rapid Mockingbird. Development. All right, forgive me. I stand corrected. It looks like our development is Savory Oyster. Production is Rapid Mockingbird. We might be running into this issue because you configured everything for our development environment. I think since we're already in production, default to Rapid Mockingbird, right? We don't have a staging environment for this, even though we should. There should be an easy way for you to clone Savory Oyster into Rapid Mockingbird. Is there not? All right, I'm gonna stop what he's doing and send all of these everything. Yeah, and for anybody curious, like if you queue messages and it's working, all you got to do is hit stop and it sends your queued messages. And then not only will it continue where it left off, but it will add everything you just discussed to the list, which is, I thought is pretty cool. Yeah. And he's constantly, like, he has his core pizzas, but then he constantly also changes certain things and experiments sometimes. You know better than me. And don't forget, we have our team of sub-agents that can handle this as well, right? We have an engineering division. Get it done. No more tinkering. We should be able to go live and test this within the hour. One of the model council questions Dwight came up with, test all models, was, you are a grumpy librarian named Margaret who hates noise. Someone asks you to recommend a book about motorcycles. Stay in character completely. I'm going to force send that message, and now I'm just going to let it get to work. Yeah, and I don't think think I'm gonna do pizza tonight. I'd rather cook. I enjoy cooking. Plus, I hate takeout pizza. I hate Uber Eats pizza. I'd rather just go to the restaurant. I'll save that for another night. Now I am curious. Let's go into Vercel. Oh, I'm gonna have to have Muddy share his Vercel deployment with me. Actually, I don't think you can do that in hobby accounts, can you? How are we doing on our weekly usage? We're at 59%. And today, assuming I hit that 14 mark, nice. I'm ahead by 10%. That's great. Yeah, I try to average 14% a day. After that insane using my week in 5 days, that was nuts. But that was a lot of foundational work, right? I spent countless hours. I was up all night because I couldn't go to sleep. I was essentially working with my agent until the sun came up, and then I would go to sleep. It was wild. It was wild those first 5 days of biting the bullet and signing up for Claude Code Max because my pro sub just kept maxing out instantaneously. It was insane. Yeah, you know, chat, I might have to say we finish this Friday. I'm starved. Let's give this another 10 minutes. Another 10 minutes. Nope, that's even in a private tab, it does that. Oh, also, yeah, I got ahead of myself. We got to wait a few minutes for the recent deployment. Root cause. Okay, okay. Let's go check that out while we wait. Interesting. Interesting 2.5 flash and not 3 flash. From what I hear, GPT-4o is going to be discontinued, I think, the day before Valentine's Day, I think on the 13th. Yeah, didn't Grok just come out with a new update? Verbose, wrong, or both. Gemini 2.5 Pro is a waste of money. Slowest, most expensive, failed, or underperformed on nearly every test. Bottom line, Opus for thinking, Sonnet for working, Flash for analyzing, 4 for talking, Llama for fetching, kills Gemini Pro, not worth the tokens. Dwight K. Schrute. I would have assumed that Dwight K. Schrute is assistant to the resource allocation specialist. Assistant to the assistant. Oh my God. Okay. Something's going wrong. Let's go check Warren's crib. Well, now at least I don't get a blank screen with an application error. I get this front end message. Yeah, remember, for our testing, remember, like, delete all data. We're testing first with npx install with you and Elon. And then I want to test the other methods of installation with Warren and Gary. So they shouldn't be up there. Yeah, it probably does have that environment pointing to the wrong database. Interesting. All right. And on second thought, once you fix it, we're going to pause and then we're going to continue deployment on Friday during the live stream. Okay. All right, chat. As much as I want to keep going back and forth, sorting through all these errors, I need to eat some dinner. We've been at it for 3 hours. So I'd like to thank you for tuning in to another Clearmud live stream. We're for sure pushing this live on Friday. I'm going to make sure I eat dinner before the live stream, or I'll just order pizza to go. And we're going to stay live until this is launched, until ClawCrib is live. We're going to stay on. So look out for tomorrow's long form video, and hope you have a good rest of your day. Hey, thanks for stopping by, Roland. Thanks for sticking through. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you do with your Mac Mini and your Openclaw instance. So thanks, Derek, for being here. Thanks, everyone else, for stopping by. I hope you have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you guys on Friday.